Hi everyone, it's Paul from the model boat building. Just to put you in the picture, the other ship that I've built for the large LPG gas tanker is all finished. I changed all the shaft, got a proper prop, got all the gear thanks to Hobby Shop up in Ringwood. Floater boat. I give them a plug. Fantastic. Got them in a few days. So I got some extra parts in. So I wanted to finish it off and do it properly. I wasn't happy with the shaft that I designed and built and put in. I just didn't want it. I wanted it to be pretty well fail safe. Plus the motor, the way I fitted the motor. So I've changed that. Changed the rudder system. Rebuilt a rudder. So that's all done. It's all sitting in the house at the moment. I'm up in the shed, mainly because it's such a messy job. The paddle steamer, it's called the EmmyLou, and I've got pictures down in my, well, I call it my workshop. This is my old garage where I am at the moment. I don't come up here much. It gets a bit cold. But just put you in the picture. What I've done is, so far I've built the hull of the EmmyLou paddle steamer here in Victoria, Echuca, and I'm not quite happy with it, the way it shaped out. I've done it all by photograph. No, I don't do anything by scale. I just do it use the old nog and done it as I see it on the photograph. I think that's it's harder, but it's a little bit more craftsmanship than when you're buying a kit, you're putting it together. You know, A goes to B, B to C, C to D. That's great, but when you start building hulls and everything else, it makes it a lot easier doing it by kit, of course, and you're going by plan. But anyway, I've done everything by ad lib. That's the way I've did the LPG gas tanker. And what we've got here is the hull. So it's only in a rough scale at the moment, as you can see. But as you look at the photos on the paddle steamer itself, the hull of a paddle steamer is actually very, very small. It's quite wide, but the top deck, or the first section of the deck, overhangs everywhere, because of course you've got the paddle steamer wheels. So what I've done is that I've drawn it out here on cardboard first, as you can see here. So hopefully you can see that okay. So this is the main deck area, and what you can see here is what I've drawn in this section here is the hull. So I've gone by just close to it. I've gone a little bit overboard, and it sits like such, like so there. Okay, and eventually once you turn it over, you've then got the shape of the paddle steamer. But when you see paddle steamers, okay, all this here, if you have a look at the EmmyLou, it all overhangs. Now what I'm not happy with is that a lot of people, somebody the other day came online and said, oh, how do you do your planking? Okay, I've devised my own method, whether it's correct or not, and at the moment this has got a glass on it. I've actually filled and put a waterproof glass. This is only its first coat, so it's got to be sanded back again to waterproof it. And I'm actually using, believe it or not, I'm not using balsa wood. So again, if I had balsa wood, which I've got some on order, it would be a lot easier. What I've used is MDF. Now people are going to go, oh, MDF, it soaks up water. Yeah, it will, unless you treat it. So if you treat it right, and with this situation, what I've done here on the hull itself, I've sanded it, I've filled it with waterproof putty, I've sanded it, and now I'm starting to put the glass on. So already, I've done that this morning, and already I could sand that back. I'll put probably 2-3 coats on that. Now what I'm not happy with is the shape of the hull. Because when I've looked at the pictures, the bow on what I've done here, to me, and just looking at photographs, it's very hard because you don't see clear photographs of the hull because it's never out of the water. But what I found out is that on my model here, it's too pointy. So what I've done is out of MDF, I've just got the jigsaw, only rough, but what I've done is cut out with a jigsaw, and I've left them because I'm planking it. So in those days, with the paddle steamer, they were made out of red gum, and they were carved by hand. So if you're going to plank something that's going to be like the Echuca paddle steamers or any paddle steamer, when they made them in the 1800s and early 1900s, what they did is they carved them all by hand out of red gum, which they found at the Murray River. So you can see here that I've just cut them out roughly. I've put a bevel edge on every single piece. I've marked them, and of course I'll scatter them like you would on a weatherboard house, so you scatter them. But I want it looking not completely, you know, I can go and get sticks, I can get perfect, like the old lollipop sticks, ice cream sticks, that type of thing, and they look perfect. You don't want that. That's my idea. I don't want that. I want it to make as though it's hand built. So what I've done on this section here is that I've just marked as I've cut them out, so I know. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to lay them in as such, right across the whole hull, right down the side. But because of this section here I'm not happy with, what I'm going to do is actually build it out, because I can bend that. It's hard to do it with one hand, but as you can see, I can bend this into a shape. So I can pin it, I'll put a section in here, and I'll bend it because I believe this should be round as such. Only that much. Everything else is perfect. It's square on here for the paddles, where the paddle steamer comes with the main thrust area with the paddles. But this section here I'm not happy with. So I'm going to curve that around just a little bit. And that's, again, that's all I've used, MDF. I will seal those, spray them, seal them, because the base has already got fiberglass on it. And then once I put the planking on, I'll fiberglass over that as well. So it's really got a double hull. It's the plankings were really only going to be for show. So that's the idea so far. And this, which I cut out of cardboard, I drew it up all myself, will be the first deck. I've already marked out on here where the second section goes, and then the third. So I've got rough sizes, and then of course the main steering area up into the captain's quarters, up into the top. But if you go online, you'll see what I'm talking about. The EmmyLou, Echuca, Victoria, Australia. So that's my next project. So it's coming along quite fast actually. I've only been on it for about 4 days. But I'll do the hull today, and then I'll do another vlog, and then I've ordered some balsa wood, so I'm going to do the balsa wood cabin. The simple fact is because it's got a lot of windows, a lot of doors, and using the MDF, cutting it with a razor blade to start with, or jigsaw, you don't get a good finish. So I want to do it all by hand, so I could do the doors and the windows and cut them all out with a razor blade, cutting knives, and then putting them all together. And I got all that all worked out in the head so far, and I just go as I do it as I go. That's probably the best way. If I don't like it, like I did with the hull, I change my method, change my ideas, and think, well, I'll plank it. I wasn't going to plank it. All I was going to do is get my tool here, the little Zito. I was going to put the cutting wheel on here, on this section here, and what I was going to do was actually cut into the hull to make lines, to make it look like planks. It's a black hull, but hopefully, you know, I don't want it smooth. I still want these sections in here to make it look like the actual planking. Anyway, excuse me, I'm full of dust up here, so that's why I didn't do it down in the house in my little workshop. It's just so dusty. Alright, so that's it for now. As normal, you know, just like and subscribe if you like, and I'll get back to you on the next vlog, and we'll see how we go. Stay safe, look after yourselves, and God bless. See ya. Bye bye.